ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते। ॐ अज्ञान जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। रीडिंग फ्रॉम श्रीमद् भागवतम। By His divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. We are reading from Canto 4, Chapter 24, chanting the song sung by Lord Shiva, that is Rudra Gita. So we are at text 37. So Lord Shiva is beautifully offering prayers to Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. And now he continues the further prayer. He is teaching this to Prachetas how to pray to the Supreme Lord while performing austerities. स्वर्गापवर्गद्वाराय नित्यं शुचिषदे नमः। नमो हिरण्यवीर्याय चातुर्होत्राय तन्तवे। Translation.
O Lord, O Aniruddha, you are the authority by which the doors of the higher planetary systems and liberation are opened. You are always within the pure heart of the living entity. Therefore, I offer my obeisances unto you. You are the possessor of semen, which is like gold, and thus, in the form of fire, you help the Vedic sacrifices, beginning with Chatur Hotra. Therefore, I offer my obeisances unto you. Purport. The word Swarga indicates a position in the higher or heavenly planetary systems, and the word Apavarga means liberation. Those who are attached to the karma kandiya activities described in the Vedas are actually entangled in the three modes of material nature. The Bhagavad Gita therefore says that one should be above the dominion of the fruitive activities. There are different kinds of liberation or mukti. The best mukti is engagement in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord. Not only does Lord Aniruddha help fruitive actors by elevating them to the higher planetary systems, but he also helps the devotee engage in devotional service by dint of his inexhaustible energy. Just as heat is the source of material energy, the inspiration of Lord Aniruddha is the energy by which one can engage in executing devotional service. Hare Krishna.
So Lord Shiva is offering prayer to Aniruddha. And he prays, My dear Lord Aniruddha, who is authority of Swarga Apavarga Dvaraya, Nityam Shuchipadam Namaha. All obeisances unto you. Namo Hiranyaviryaya, who controls the Swarga and Apavarga, the doors of liberation, who is a possessor of the semen which is like gold. Namo Hiranyaviryaya, Chaturhotraya Namo Namaha. And thus the form of the fire, beginning with Chaturhotra. So this is obeisances to Aniruddhaya Namaha. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains, Swarga is the heavenly planets and Apavarga is liberation. And Vedas typically talk about, attaining Swarga, attaining Apavarga, so on and so forth. And thus, Vedas are actually, Prabhupada says, they are entangled in the three modes of material nature. Lord Krishna says this in Bhagavad Gita, Traigunya Vishaya Veda, Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna, Nirdvandvo, Nitya Sattvasto, Nitya Mukto. So, Traigunya Vishaya Veda. So one has to aspire for liberation, and the best form of liberation is devotional service, which inspires a devotee to go beyond Swarga Apavarga Narakeshu Apitulyartha Darshanam. Later, this beautiful verse will come, where Lord Shiva is also there in that verse. Lord Shiva says this verse, Narayana Parasarve Nakutaschana Bibhyati स्वर्ग अपवर्ग नरकेषु अपि तुल्यार्थ darshanam. Further, Srila Prabhupada explains here that he also helps his devotees engage in devotional service by the dint of his inexhaustible energy. So, just like the heat is the source of material energy, inspiration of Lord Aniruddha is the energy by which one can engage in executing the devotional service. Right. So, Aniruddha, we have seen Aniruddha is controller of the mind. And sometimes we may see some devotees who are like inexhaustibly performing devotional service. It is not that their body and our body is way different. No, right? Body is almost the similar body, right? Strength is almost the similar strength. But the mind of a devotee is completely different and which is inspired by Lord Aniruddha. Text 38. नमः ऊर्जे इषे त्रय्या पतये यज्ञरेतसे तृप्तिदाय च जीवानां नमः सर्वरसात्मने. Translation.
Translation, My Lord, you are the provider of Pitralokas as well as all the demigods. You are the predominating deity of the moon and the master of all three Vedas. I offer my respectful obeisance unto you because you are the original source of satisfaction for all living entities. Purport, when the living entity is born within this material world, especially as a human being, he has several obligations unto the demigods, unto the saintly persons, and unto living entities in general. As enjoined in Shastras, Devarishi Bhuttapta Narayanam Pitranam. Thus, one has an obligation to one's forefathers, the previous hierarchy. Lord Shiva prays to Lord Aniruddha to give him strength so he can become free from all obligation to the Pitas, demigods, general living entities, and saintly persons and completely engage himself in the devotional service of the Lord. As stated, Devarishi Bhuttapta Narayanam Pitranam Na Kinkaro Nayam Nicharajana Sarvatma Yah Saranam Saranayam Kato Mukundam Parihartaya Kartanam. Bhagavatam 11.5.41. One becomes free from all obligations to the demigods, saintly persons, pitas, ancient forefathers, etc. if one is completely engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. Lord Shiva therefore prays to the Lord Aniruddha to give him strength so that he can be free from such obligations and entirely engaged in the Lord's service. Soma, or the predominating deity of the moon, is responsible for the living entity's ability to relish the taste of food through the tongue. Lord Shiva prays to Lord Aniruddha to give him strength so that he will not taste anything but the prasada of the Lord. Sri Bhaktivedanta Thakur has sung a verse indicating that the tongue is the most formidable enemy among all the senses. If one can control the tongue, he can easily control the other senses. The tongue can be controlled only by eating prasada offered to the deity. Lord Shiva's prayer to Lord Aniruddha is meant for this purpose, Tripti Daya. He prays to the Lord Aniruddha to help him be satisfied by eating only prasada offered to the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Further now, Lord Shiva is praying, My dear Lord Aniruddha, who is the provider of the Pitruloka and the planet and all the demigods. You are the predominating deity of the moon, master of the Vedas, and original source of satisfaction for all living entities. Right. So again, satisfaction we have seen, satisfaction is the function of mind, and all these functions of mind are being explained here, who is controlled, which is controlled by Aniruddha and the Soma god. Right. And that's why you will see the word lunatic. The word somebody has become lunatic means, the mental disorder comes with the word lunar, which comes with the word Luna, which is significant to Chandra Devata, that is the moon god. And moon god is ultimately controlled by Aniruddha. So all this is in line. Correct. In the purport that there are many obligations a living entity is born with. Dev Rishi Bhutapta Nranam Pitrunam. Right. One is obliged to the Devatas, one is obliged to Rishis, Devarshis, one is obliged to so many living entities. Not that we simply pay the hospital bill, means whatever is done by the nurse there is paid in full, right? Certain things are not paid in full by any amount of money. Not that we pay some 80 rupees per liter for the milk. That means we have done our obligation with the cow, which is providing the milk. No, bill is not the obligation, right? Bill is just a exchange of material. So living entity is obliged to so many other living entities. Dev, Rishi, Bhuta, Apta, Nrinam, Pitrunam. And there are so many great sages who have given such a great knowledge of Ayurveda and our ancestors, the Gotra Rishis. So a living entity is born with many obligations. And it is very difficult to pay for all the obligations unless one becomes a devotee of the Supreme Lord. And therefore, here Bhagavatam it is prayed, Devarshi Bhutapta Nrinam Pitrunam Na Kinkaro Nayam Ranicharajan Sarvatmanaya Sharanam Sharanyam Gato Mukundam Pariritya Kartam. By taking shelter of Lord Mukunda, Gato Mukundam Pariritya Kartam, one becomes free from all obligations and all the rina towards all the living entities. So that doesn't mean that one becomes now I'm free. And that is not the point here. That means to begin to become free, it is mandatory that one becomes a devotee of the Lord. Right. Srila Prabhupada explains the word Soma. Soma is the predominating deity of the moon. And Somo Bhutva Rasatmaka. Okay, Bhagavad Gita explains. So Somo Bhutva Rasatmaka. We taste anything, or it is by the mercy of the Somaras, the Soma god, that is Chandra, the deity of Chandra. And thus Prabhupada says, if we can control our tongue, all senses can be very easily controlled. Trupti. What is that? Truptidaya Chidivana. So Trupti is austerity of the mind that we have seen. Manah Prasada. Okay, the austerity of the mind when it is explained in Bhagavad Gita. Manah Prasada Saumyatvam. So Manaprasada, satisfaction is austerity of the mind. And therefore a devotee has to be satisfied and still progressing. Right? So if we are only satisfied, even the material progress will be halted. Again, age appropriate. If we are in the developing career phase, our material progress will be halted. So if we are dissatisfied, then our spiritual progress will be halted. So the midway is one has to be satisfied materially and still progressing. Why? Because so that one can perform greater amount of devotional service by receiving the greater material facilities by material advancement. And this is how Yudhishthira Maharaj always performed yajna. He was conquering land after land, not for his own enjoyment, but for performing Ashwamedh Yajna and giving mand of the first Ashwamedh Agra Puja to Lord Krishna. And this is how he perpetuated his devotional service. So Trupti, satisfaction, has its a very important role in the life of a devotee, and it has to be understood very carefully. Text 39. Sarvasatvatmadehaya visheshaya sthaviyase Namastrailokabalaya sah ojo balaya cha.
My dear Lord, you are the gigantic universal form which contains all the individual bodies of the living entities. You are the maintainer of the three worlds, and as such, you maintain the mind, senses, body, and air of life within them. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Purport. As the individual body of the living entity is composed of millions of cells, germs, and microbes, the universal body of the Supreme Lord similarly contains all the individual bodies of the living entities. Lord Shiva is offering his obeisances to the universal body, which includes all other bodies, so that everyone's body may fully engage in devotional service. Since this individual body is composed of senses, all the senses should be engaged in devotional service. For instance, the smelling instrument, the nose, can engage in smelling the flowers offered to the lotus feet of the Lord. The hands can engage in cleansing the temple of the Lord, etc. Indeed, being the life air of every living entity, the Lord is the maintainer of the three worlds. Consequently, he can induce every living entity to engage in his real life's duty with full bodily and mental strength. Thus, every living entity should serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead by his prana, life, earth, wealth, intelligence, and words. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 10.22.35, एतावज जन्म साफल्यम देहिनाम इह देहिषु प्राणैर अर्थैर धिया वाचा श्रेय अर्चनम सदा. Even though one may desire to engage in the service of the Lord, without sanction one cannot do so. Lord Shiva is offering his prayers in so many different ways in order to show living entities how to engage in the devotional service of the Lord.
Now further, Lord Shiva prays, my dear Lord, you are the gigantic universal form, Sarva Sattvatma Dehaya, Visheshaya Sthaviyase. Namo Trailokya Palaya, you are the maintainer of the three worlds, and you maintain Saha Ojo Balaya Cha. You also maintain the mind, senses, body, and the air of life within them, prana, and therefore Namaha, all respectful obeisances unto you. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that the individual body, just like in our body, there are many, just like in our house, there are so many other living entities. Of course, we may be 3-4 humans staying in that house, but there are so many insects, there are so many ants, there may be a couple of lizards around, there may be a rat living. So within that one house, we may feel that only 3 people are living, but there are unlimited living entities in that house. Similarly, in the house of the body, although there is one predominant soul, there are many, many other millions of other living entities living in that body. Right? There are, Prabhupada says, there are so many cells, germs, microbes, so on and so forth. Similarly, in the universal body of the Supreme Lord, now that includes all other bodies, and here Lord Shiva is offering obeisances to the universal body so that everybody's body may fully be engaged in devotional service. Right? That's the point. So beautiful point it is. Prabhupada says, so, we possess this body. So I have my body, you have your body. And along with me in the body, there are so many other living entities in the body. Correct? So when I offer obeisances to Krishna with this body, what happens is that invariably all other living entities like germs, microbes, cells, and so forth, they also offer obeisances to the Supreme Lord knowingly, unknowingly. And thus, a kind of devotional service or sukruti is generated for these personalities. Right? Prabhupada says similarly here, and therefore, when one engages one's body in the devotional service to the Supreme Lord, automatically he is doing so much favor to so many other living entities. And then Prabhupada points out how body can be engaged. Savaimana Krishna Padar Vindayor, Vacham Sivaikuntha Gunanuvarnane, Karau Harer Mandiramarjanadisho, Shrutim Chakar Achyuta Satkathodai, so on and so forth. And ultimately, finally, one has to engage one's prana, artha, dhiya, and vacha in the service of the Lord. Even though one may desire to engage in the service, without sanction of the Supreme Lord, one cannot do so. Lord Shiva is offering his prayers in so many different ways to show the living entities how to engage in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord. So, engaged in the devotional service is a great prerogative. Somebody may say, I can. No, it is not possible. It is not possible without the sanction of the Supreme Lord. This is a very important point. Sometimes we feel that I am performing bhakti by my own prowess. No, it is sanctioned and it is accepted. Just like, for example, somebody goes to Infosys and says, Sir, I want to serve your company like a CEO. Can I come and join your company? They will say, get lost. First, you have to, qualify yourself to serve us. Chalo, you say, forget CEO, sir. Let me serve your company as a driver, or I want to serve your company as a watchman. Still, one has to prove the qualification, right? So, the service has to be accepted. It is very important thing. Service has to be accepted. One has to be given an appointment letter, and then only one can say that I am a bona fide servant. And this appointment letter is given by Guru Shishya Parampara when one takes initiation. And therefore, uh, Parampara is so important because parampara makes our service authorized. Text 40. अर्थलिंगाय नमसे नमो अंतर्बहिरात्मने नमः पुण्याय लोकाय अमुष्मै भूरिवर्चसे. Translation.
My dear Lord, by expanding your transcendental vibrations, you reveal the actual meaning of everything. You are the all pervading sky within and without, and you are the ultimate goal of pious activities executed both within this material world and beyond it. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances again and again unto you. Purport. The Vedic evidence is called Shabda Brahma. There are many things which are beyond the perception of our imperfect senses. Yet the authoritative evidence of sound vibration is perfect. The Vedas are known as Shabda Brahma because the evidence taken from the Vedas constitute the ultimate understanding. This is because Shabda Brahma or the Vedas represents the Supreme Personality of Godhead. However, the real essence of Shabda Brahma is chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. By vibrating this transcendental sound, the meaning of everything, both material and spiritual, is revealed. This Hare Krishna is non-different from the personality of Godhead. The meaning of everything is received through the air, through the sound vibration. The vibration may be material or spiritual, but without sound vibration, no one can understand the meaning of anything. In the Vedas, it is said, Antar Bahishchatat Sharvam Vyapya Narayana Sthita. Narayana is all pervading and he exists both within and without. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 13.34. Yatha Praktya Shayatya Eka Krishnam Lokam Imam Ravi Kshetram Kshetri Tatha Shritnam Prakashayati Bharata, O son of Bharata, as the sun alone illuminates all this universe, so do living entity and the supersoul illuminate the entire body by consciousness.
So
In
it's a longer purport. We'll divide it into two. Now, Lord Shiva prays, Arthalingaya Nabhase. Just one minute. Arthalingaya Nabhase. Namo Antir Bahiratmane. He's saying that, my dear Lord, by expanding your transcendental vibrations, you reveal the actual meaning of everything. You are the all pervading sky within and without, ultimate goal of the pious activities, both in the material world and beyond, and thus repeated obeisances unto you. Namah Punyaya Lokaya. So, Namah Punyaya Lokaya means the pious activities. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that there are three ways of gaining knowledge: Pratyaksha, Anuman, and Shabda. And Vedic evidence is called as Shabda Brahma or Shabda Pramana. So there are many things, and we understand the things by vibration. And therefore, vibration, Prabhupada says there is material vibration and there is spiritual vibration. A great scientist, Nicholas Tesla, he had a very beautiful quote. He says that, you have to think in terms of frequency, energy, and vibration, right? Something similar to that. He says that don't think in terms of just matter. He says that you have to think in terms of frequency, energy, and vibration. And this is true for everything. Just like somebody scored 80 marks in exam and you want to score 100 marks in exam, he has to vibrate at another level, right? Right. Somebody is earning 1 lakh rupees per month. He wants to earn 10 lakh rupees per month. And all these, the people tell that you have to vibrate at another level. So there is a frequency, energy, and vibration. And this is true materially, and also this is true spiritually. And spiritually, that vibration is called as Shabda Brahma. And the Shabda Brahma is the essence of the Vedas, right? Yugala Nama Shruti Sarahe Radhesham Radhesham. So the entire Shruti Sar, the entire Sar of the Shabda Brahma is chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. By vibrating this transcendental sound, the meaning of everything, material and spiritual, is revealed. Right? Eventually, it will be revealed. Correct. There is a see when one vibrates the material sound may not reveal the meaning. Like, a child may go on saying that E is equal to mc square, E is equal to mc square. He may not know what it is. Somebody is thirsty, he may just chant water, 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 water. His thirst may not be quenched. But the difference between material vibration and spiritual vibration is that there is nothing internal and external in spiritual vibration. It is advayam, absolute. So when we vibrate the spiritual sound vibration, and especially Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Prabhupada says this Hare Krishna Mahamantra is non-different than personality of Godhead. And thus meaning of everything is received through the sound vibration. And therefore vibration is very important. And this vibration is controlled by Lord Narayana, and I offer my unlimited obeisances unto Lord Narayana. And then Srila Prabhupada quotes a verse from Bhagavad Gita that sun alone illuminates the universe. Similarly, the body is illuminated by the soul and the super soul. Living entity, Jiva and Sarvatma, Jivatma and Sarvatma, they illuminate the body as the sun illuminates universe. Right. Yeah, please continue.
In other words, the consciousness of both the soul and super soul is all pervading. The limited consciousness of the living entity is pervading the entire material body, and the supreme consciousness of the Lord is pervading the entire universe. Because the soul is present within the body, consciousness pervades the entire body. Similarly, because the supreme soul or Krishna is present within this universe, everything is working in order. Mayadhyakshana prakriti suyate sacharacharam. This material nature is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, and it is producing all moving and unmoving beings. Bhagavad Gita 9.10. Lord Shiva is therefore praying to the personality of Godhead to be kind to us so that simply by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, we can understand everything in both the material and spiritual worlds. The word Amushmai is significant in this regard because it indicates the best target one can aim for after attaining the higher planetary systems. Those who are engaged in fruitive activities, karmis, attain the higher planetary systems as a result of their past activities, and the gyanis who seek unification or a monistic merging with the effulgence of the Supreme Lord also attain their desired end. But in the ultimate issue, the devotees who desire to personally associate with the Lord are promoted to the Vaikuntha Lokas or Golak Vrindavan. The Lord is described in Bhagavad Gita 10.12 as Pavitram Paramam, the supreme pure. This is also confirmed in this verse. Shukdev Goswami has stated that the coward boys who played with Lord Krishna were not ordinary living entities. Only after accumulating many pious activities in various births does one get the opportunity to personally associate with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Since only the pure can reach him, he is the Supreme Pure.
Yeah. Further now, Srila Prabhupada explains, in other words, consciousness of the both soul and super soul is all pervading. So consciousness of the soul is all pervading, and we know that Kshetra Kshetrajna Yoga, that his all pervading is limited towards the all pervading within the body, but the super soul, it is all pervading across the bodies, right? And thus the supreme consciousness of the Lord is pervading through entire universe. And Prabhupada says, because the presence of the Supreme Lord, everything is working in order. Just like because of the presence of the soul, the body is functioning. And as soon as the soul leaves the body starts decomposing. Similarly, because of the presence of the Supreme Lord, the entire universe is functioning the way it is functioning. Correct. It is functioning in a huge way. Like, we may be peacefully sitting 2 minutes hour, 1 minute hours. This session will be over. We will, be busy in cooking, this, that. But are we aware we are rotating at the speed of like 1 lakh? I mean, no, when it comes to astronomy, any numbers are tiny numbers. The earth is revolving around itself. The whole thing is revolving around the solar system. The solar system is revolving around the pole star, and everything is revolving around the Supreme Lord. And this is all is going with a phenomenal speed, right? So all this is happening by the presence of the Supreme Lord within universe. Mayadhyakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam. Right. And therefore, Lord Shiva is praying that, my dear Lord, let by chanting Hare Krishna, we can understand both material and spiritual world and reach to the essence of the spiritual world. Prabhupada says here the word amushai is very important, which indicates that the best target one should aim for. So one's aim should not settle with Bhogaishwarya within this material world, or even Swarga, or even just Apavarga. The Bhagavad Bana should reach to the Vaikuntha and ultimately to Golok Vrindavan, which is Pavitram Param. And this was attained by the cowherd boys who were playing with Krishna. Prapya Punyakratan, after attaining the spiritual sukrutis for lifetimes, they qualified themselves to reach to the Vaikuntha world, to reach the world of Golok Vrindavan. So there is one small announcement. Today is Friday, and tomorrow evening we are going to have a Bhagavat Manthan. Okay, once a month we are going to meet in the temple, ISKCON in VCC, and there will be a little more detailed analysis of the Bhagavatam that we have studied for last 1 month. And every month we are planning this series, Krishna willing. Please pray that this also initiative also continues. So everybody is most welcome. This class also will be available. This session will be also available on our Sport app. Okay, time will be around 6 to 8:30. This session will be there. And what we are going to do, we are going to discuss what we have already discussed, but from the another perspective of like life and teachings of Maharaj Prithu. This is what we are going to discuss tomorrow. So every second Saturday of the month, evening 6 to 8:30, we are planning this Bhagavad Manthan series. His Grace Radhesham Prabhu has named this as Bhagavad Manthan. And previously we were wondering Bhagavad Rasayanam, but the word Rasayanam is taken to a next level by Radhesham Prabhu's Krishna Rasayanam series. So we will have this Bhagavad Manthan. Okay. So we will conclude here and continue tomorrow. Sri Prabhupada ki jai,
Jai.
Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, everyone.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
very
Thank you,
much.
Prabhu.
Prabhupada.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, where we can gather to attend this Bhagavad Manthan?
This will be in the temple, Balaji Hall.
Okay, okay.
बालाजी टेम्पल के जो स्टेयर से उसके नीचे हॉल है ना,
Yes,
that is
yes.
Balaji Hall. So there we will be having this tomorrow.
Okay. धन्यवाद प्रभुजी.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhupada.
Thank
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.